Okay.
I wouldn't do that.
Yeah, go buy the vanilla ice cream, chocolate ice cream, try it out.
Listen, if it's not hermetically sealed before I buy it, I don't even buy it.
Well, that's the trouble. When you go buy ice cream, a lot of the brands, okay, don't have no cellophane around them. So you could just easily pop the lid off of the ice cream, lick it, and put it back on. So just think about that. I mean, it's scary. I'm just saying right now, I just got a funny feeling if this thing expands, it's going to hurt our whole economy really fast. It could take it. It really could take it. And maybe that's what the president was worried about. Not just the stock market, everything. Let's face it, people go to fast food a lot. People go to and get coffee a lot. If they're worried about, being contaminated and maybe getting it from somebody, well, you know what? That could be the reason. Anyway, we're going to go on break, and I come back, we're going to have Earl Grey on. So everybody stay tuned. You're listening to Night Dreams Talk Radio.
Scintillas in the stream, hoping for what's true. I'm trawling for honor in this shallow pool. Borealis starlit crown arches over the Puget Sound. His hair drapes the horizon to there is my lucky star tonight.
You can advertise your business on Night Dreams Talk Radio, and you will be heard worldwide. Why not contact us at nightdreamstalkradio@gmail.com.
If you would like to hear Night Dreams Talk Radio on your local radio station, let them know. Tell them to check out www.nightdreamstalkradio.com, and thank you.
Night Dreams Talk Radio, After Dark, wants to give a big shout out to all the truckers that listen to our show. You are listening to Night Dreams Talk Radio Network, from our compound to you worldwide, with your host, Gary Anderson.
And that is me. Well, we're trying to get Earl on the line right now. You're listening to Night Dreams Talk Radio, and hopefully we have Earl on the line.
Hello there.
Well, how you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
I am doing good, but I'm trying to figure out why. What are you on a regular landline?
That's what you usually use. I'm actually just on my phone.
Okay.
That's what I usually do.
Okay. Well, I'm trying.
Does it sound okay?
Yeah, I'm correcting it on my end. So if you could just tell everybody a little bit about yourself, and I'll make some adjustments while you do that.
Sure. My name is Earl Grey Anderson. I am chief investigator for MUFON in Southern California. I'm also the assistant state director, a STAR team member. So if you see a UFO go down, I'm the guy that gets called. It's kind of cool. And I'm part of Kathleen Martin's experiencer research team, which we deal with all of the experiencer cases that come into MUFON, which is quite a few, actually.
Well, I got to ask you a question, Earl. Explain a little bit about that. I mean, experience, the cases that come in. What do you guys do on that?
Well, that when I get my usual UFO cases, and I've closed upwards to 400 plus UFO cases for MUFON. And those are the cases that come in where if you go to MUFON.com and you've seen, say you're driving in the desert and you see a flying saucer or a strange black triangle with a light on each edge and a little red light in the center. We get a lot of those, actually. Most of those people will put in, they'll click on report a UFO. And that's probably the lion's share of the cases that I get are just pure investigatory cases. But if you have had an encounter with extraterrestrial beings, with entities, interdimensional, extraterrestrial, I'm still not sure where they all come from, but I believe that we're being visited by manifold different beings from different places with different motives. And if you have a face-to-face, close encounter of the third kind, then you might want to go and take the experiencer questionnaire that is also offered by MUFON on MUFON.com. And it'll ask you 30 questions. And we have different markers that we use with our cases with experiencers. And sometimes all it takes is just a couple of markers. But some people will go in there and they'll click off like 20, 25, We have people that have been visited since they were children or repeat visits. And this is a whole different ball of wax. We treat those cases differently. The experiencer research team is a non-judgment situation. I'm not there to prove whether you saw aliens or had an encounter or not. I'm there more like a social worker for people who don't know where to go if they need a support group. And there's support groups all around the world for this. Some people want to be hypnotically regressed. There's pros and cons to that, but I do have, various psychologists and people who use, we prefer the quantum method that Dolores Cannon came up with as far as hypnotic regression goes, which kind of heals the person on the way. It's not just sort of like, everything comes back to you, boom, and now you have to live with whatever, might be kind of a scary encounter that you were caused to forget, because that our visitors oftentimes will give people forgetfulness. A lot of times people will have the initial experience in their minds that they remember. They're paralyzed. The room may fill up with light, or they may be in their car may stall out, and suddenly they have a couple of hours of missing time. And some people, it's just like they can't really live with their life without finding out what actually happened to them and what they were caused to forget. And we do have people that we can send you to who can use more of a healing kind of method of hypnotism to where it isn't this horror show that you're left with. It takes a little more time than regular hypnotic regression, but I think that it has really, really wonderful results. And that's the method that Kathleen Martin pushes out there, as well as Denise Stoner and some of the other people that are ahead of our group. So that's what I do, the Experiencer Research Group. It's a kind of different from my usual investigator hat. If you go and you put in an experiencer questionnaire and you say that you want to talk with somebody from the ERT, the Experiencer Research Team, then it's like a different ball of wax. I'm more of a social worker for you, and that's kind of what I do with the ERT.
Very interesting. By the way, Audrey wants to say hi to you. She says, "Hi, Earl." So there.
Audrey, how you doing? Oh, we met Audrey, Jeff Krause and I. Jeff, who was on the show a couple nights ago, actually. We hung out with Audrey. I met her at Alien Con, and she was dressed up like a blue alien. Audrey and her friend. Yeah, that's where I first met Audrey. She was a blue alien with pointy ears. It was kind of cool.
Did she glow? Did she glow?
Just with her normal personality, she glows. Yeah.
Okay.
But she didn't dip herself in any, chemical that, reacts to ultraviolet light or anything like that.
Well, you never know. There is people that do. I met a guy about a year and a half ago at a seminar up here in the West Coast, and I tell you, he had lights and he had everything, and he was really into this alien abduction thing. To the point where I was wondering, maybe they abducted his brain and only returned part of it. I don't know. But
well, that's a possibility. I don't know. I mean, we like to keep our brains inside the brain case. It's sort of my buddy Jeff's credo that I kind of go by too. It's like keep an open mind, but not so open that your brain falls out.
Yeah.
So, and I owe Jeff another $1 or whatever he charges me for quoting him, because I quote that a lot. I mean, that was originally his little creed, and I took it as my own about 5 years ago when I started up as a field investigator. Just kind of, I laughed really hard when Jeff told me that, but it was like, God, that's true. I mean, you do want to keep your brain in there. Because we hear a lot of weird stuff. And you know what? I mean, a lot of the weird stuff that you hear around the UFO phenomena is true. I mean, it gets really strange. As you know, there's the whole category of high strangeness cases, which is usually the contact type cases that I love those cases, frankly. And I find that the weirder cases are oftentimes the real ones, the ones that have evidence, and the ones that where you kind of hit pay dirt as far as just, the regular investigatory cases that I get. Some of the weirder cases are the good ones.
Oh, yeah. Whitley, he was on the show last week. And
Whitley's great.
Yeah, he's changed from, feeling that he was abducted by aliens. And now he doesn't quite feel maybe they weren't aliens that abducted him, maybe some spiritual thing or something.
Mm. A lot of people kind of make that arc. It's sort of, is it interplanetary is, I think, the way it originally started when people were seeing UFOs. They were thinking they were from Mars and Venus and stuff. And then people were thinking it was, interstellar. And even Dr. J. Allen Hynek, who ran Project Blue Book, his friend Jacques Vallée, I think kind of opened the door to this, that perhaps a lot of the phenomena is more interdimensional than it is interstellar. Or at least, it's a blend of the two. And I know that they use different dimensions to get around, or it certainly looks that way because they pop in and out of existence, UFOs do. And so it kind of goes against a lot of the physics that we live by in our world. And so maybe they're going by physics from another dimension, and that would explain a lot of things, like how they can, break the sound barrier without causing multiple sonic booms, or, make 90-degree turns without turning into, jelly on the side of the spaceship that they're riding in. I think that they maybe carry their own physics with them, that they perhaps create their own little space or a pocket of their own physics that they take with them. And that's how they trick our physics when they interact with humans and when people see these crafts, and that is kind of the hallmark of a real UFO. I mean, we get lots of light in the sky cases that are reported to us, and a lot of those, can just be spy satellites. I mean, I know people that'll download satellite tracking apps, and I have to kind of tell people quite often, just because it's not on your satellite tracking app doesn't mean it wasn't a satellite. There's a lot of lights in the sky that are ours. But I get excited when I see things that go against our physics and the things that we consider possible. If something acts like it's from a Roadrunner cartoon, that's kind of the way that UFOs seem to operate. They seem to have their own, mechanics and their own their own interactions with the universe that are unlike our own.
Well, the other thing is we are not at the level yet